Josh Brown and Michael Batnick interviewed Peter Mallouk of Creative Planning at Future Proof. And if you don't know Creative Planning, they've just grown incredibly fast over the last 10 years or so. And I'm recommending that you listen to the whole thing. But I also wanted to highlight a few important parts because some of the things that they go over, some of the advice is good for advisors who are just starting out. Then some of the advice is good for advisors who have been around for 10 years or so. And then they also talk to advisors who are scaling their firm or even looking at that next level of transitioning their firm to either new owners, or they talk a little bit about PE. So I'll start with some of the key takeaways for newer advisors and then go up from there. And if you're an advisor, let me know if you like this type of video by clicking the like button. That way I could do more of the types of videos that you prefer. But key takeaway number one, this is advice for younger advisors if you're just getting into the industry. And this is at minute 35:48. And it's around proximity to success and choosing your environment wisely. Peter advises younger advisors to focus on their environment and being around successful, high integrity professionals, and how that's really the greatest impact. That'll give you the greatest impact on your career more than anything else, more than the learning and the knowledge part of it. It's being around the right people. So he just says, surround yourself with people who are successful in the ways that you want to be successful. So not just the monetary ways or, how fast they're growing, but think about what's most important to you and find people who emulate that. So he says, choose your first job carefully and choose your mentorship who mentors you carefully. And that is going to shape your career more than anything else. And also, one thing I'd add is just look for mentors who are aligned, kind of like we said, to your personal values and to the vision that you have for your own career, because that's going to help you either avoid some of the pitfalls that happen or accelerate the learning curve as you continue to grow. And also too, as you're looking at some conferences, if you go to Future Proof, if you go to other conferences or industry events, don't just go passively and attend and just go for knowledge. Think about preparing questions ahead of time and be ready to ask some of the people or locate some of the people that you wish you could talk to, but who are at these sorts of conferences. So that's important. And then also follow up, keep in touch with those people if you do make those connections. A couple other things as you're looking at who to work with, look at the firm's growth potential, right? How are they growing? Are they kind of doing the old school techniques of cold calling or door knocking, or even could be seminars? Ideally, it's a firm that's got a brand that has clients or prospects reaching out to them versus the other way around. And by the way, we're getting about 60 prospects plus per month coming in, and we don't have enough advisors to help everybody. So we are looking for advisors. Just FYI, if you're interested, look to apply to an advisor position. And then also choose the environment wherever you work, one that has some innovation behind it, because especially the next 5 years are, I'm expecting, and everyone's expecting a lot of changes to the industry in general. So have a firm that can adapt and has that kind of underlying value of innovating and adapting. Key takeaway number two from Peter at minute 10:13, it's all around leveraging social proof and building credibility. And he tells a quick story, an analogy of how he and his son I can't remember where, but there was a bunch of food trucks and they were picking which food truck to go to. And his son immediately found the food truck that had the best 5-star ratings on Yelp or something like that. And he's saying that's what advisors should be thinking about too. So think about client testimonials, think about case studies, and then just firm achievements to establish credibility and attract more clients. Of course, talk to compliance about all these things and getting them on your website or talking about Google reviews, things like that. But just make sure your online presence reflects the quality of your service and your expertise. This is part of the reason why I preach a lot about content marketing and YouTube and just how it's the best form of social proof out there. If you could start creating videos that other people like, it's amazing it took 10 months probably to get it right. But after that, that's when we started to take off. And that's when we started to grow rapidly. On to key point number three. It's the number one metric that Peter looks at. I think he said every morning. And as business owners, so no, not the advisor, but the owner of the business, if you are one, we need to pay attention to some key metrics so that we could quickly measure the health of our business, right? And a lot of advisors focus on AUM. What's the AUM growth? But Peter says focus on net flows over AUM. This comes at minute 6:20. He just says prioritize net flows for kind of as an indicator of client satisfaction and the value that your firm's providing. Because if you're looking at AUM and there's good market performance for the year, your net flows could be negative, and that would be a warning sign if that something's off a little bit. So, not just AUM, focus on net flows. Actually, one of the things that we use at Streamline is called Net Asset Tracker. So this is our flows, and it's just tracking the one big number and how we're doing throughout the year. And this is a great dashboard that we look at frequently to just make sure everything is working and running smoothly. Then key point number 4 that Peter makes is how clients want convenience and also integration. So he mentions a little bit about his high net worth individuals that they want really all of their financial needs handled in one place, be the one-stop shop rather than having to go to multiple professionals to get advice and coordinate. Really, you want to be coordinating things for them. Now, I don't think this means you need to hire a CPA to do the tax planning. And it doesn't mean you need to hire an attorney. Again, this is depending on what level of firm you've got. But for those, in the first 10 years or so, maybe you can just have a network of 3 attorneys in your area that do good work and be the person that you point to those attorneys, or have the list of 5 CPAs who do good work, and make sure your clients are just coordinated. Really, you want to be the quarterback or just the financial coordinator between all of the parties. We sometimes show clients this picture, which is this idea where rather than them being the middleman, you want to be the QB, the coordinator who's communicating with all of them versus having, CPA over here, attorney over here, and they're the one having to organize it all. So aim to be the primary contact for your clients. I think Peter says, if you learn about the big financial decisions after the fact, after they made the decision, then you're not their go-to advisor. And that's something you should work to achieve, is to be that go-to advisor. And then the next key takeaway is embrace a fragmented industry. This is at minute 425. Peter says that the fragmentation of this industry means that there's still room for growth for advisors like us. We should recognize that this fragmentation, it creates opportunity for smaller firms to grow because we can offer specialized services more focused in on our ideal client, on our target type client, and offer better experiences. It's also important not to be intimidated by these bigger firms that are getting a bigger piece of the market share, but instead just focus on the niche, deliver exceptional value, and then speak their language. I thought this was kind of a gold nugget when he was talking about this, because we think that the market is saturated. A lot of people do, but Peter points out that this fragmentation, it just reminds us there's always niches, there's always opportunities if we're looking for them. And one of the things we're doing to take advantage of this, and what we'd recommend for you to take advantage of this, is start talking about what you do and who you help online, out there, out in the public. And again, that's why I'm a big fan of content marketing. You could start with just doing research of your clients that you want to focus on. What are their unique needs? What are the pain points? What are the goals? Right? What's the language that they're using? And then start to share their problems and solutions online, whether it's blog posts or webinars or YouTube videos or LinkedIn posts, whatever it might be. Start to talk about that more often and frequently, speak their language. And then, it's like that saying it goes where if you can talk about your clients' problems and pain points better, and you can communicate them better than they can, then they're going to assume that you've got the solution as well. And we found that to be true over the last 4 years. And then the other big thing here, the big, I'd say, advantage is smaller firms. You can stay agile and you can adapt to client needs probably a little bit quicker than some of the big firms can. So let's use that to our advantage and stay nimble. Now on to the next thing that Peter said, minute 1406. Start thinking about adding complementary services. He was talking about expanding services to meet client needs. So he talked about bringing in estate planning attorneys and CPAs and things like that. Now, if we can't do that, again, we can have outside people that we could point to. But also, if we think about bringing things in-house, maybe we don't need the attorney. Maybe we're using wealth.com to help with estate planning needs. Maybe we don't need the CPA, and maybe we're using Holistiplan to do tax planning for clients and then coordinating So that's kind of a mini light version of bringing things in house and start offering those services using technology and AI that those services use to help us and help our clients in a greater way. And then Peter switches to the next takeaway, which is around mergers and acquisitions. It's focused on the cultural alignment. When he was looking at growing through mergers and acquisitions, it was all about focusing and making sure that if the culture was right and the fit was there, then great. But if it's not, then it might not be worth it. That's what I took away. He's bringing in, uh, he believes bringing in firms with misaligned culture can just be detrimental to the entire firm and to the future as a whole. So if you're considering M&A, prioritize cultural alignment over the size or the financial metrics of these firms. And the success of acquisition, it often hinges on how well the new team can integrate with the existing culture. So I don't have much insight, personal insight on this. We're not interested in merging or getting acquired, so I'm not exploring this much. But I'm sure there's some people out there, some advisors who are. So hopefully that was helpful. These 7 main points. And if you're looking for more, subscribe to this YouTube channel and then also join the weekly newsletter, the email, because I'll send out a weekly tip. It takes about 5 minutes to read to just make your practice and you as an advisor a little bit better every week. So hope you liked it. And then check out these videos popping up here too. And then I'll see you in the next one. Take care.